So the launch event's done. It wasn't the Mi Pad 2, the Redmi Note 2 or the Mi 5 or even the Mi 4S that we were hoping for. Instead, Xiaomi's launched an entirely new line of devices here. So for those of you who aren't aware, Xiaomi's premium flagship line is the Mi 3, the Mi 4, the budget lines, the Redmi. For example, the Redmi 1S, the Redmi 2, the Redmi Note. With display sizes growing and people wanting large displays, even established players have been forced to go out of their comfort zone and come out with large screen smartphones. So it only seemed natural for Xiaomi to do the same, and here's Xiaomi's take. By the way, before we start, one of the most common arguments that I read about in the comment section is whether Quad HD or 2K displays are worth it. Can you really see the difference? This is currently a conundrum for manufacturers as well. Chinese manufacturers, for the most part, have been offering both options. That's been their solution. A slightly lower spec variant with the 1080p display and a top-of-the-line variant with everything but the kitchen sink thrown in, featuring a Quad HD display. Oppo did it with the Find 7 and the Find 7a, Meizu did it with the MX4 and the MX4 Pro, and Xiaomi now follows suit with the Mi Note and surprise surprise, the Mi Note Pro. In this video, I'm gonna talk about the specs of both devices, how I feel they'd fare, things I'm not too fond of, my thoughts on it basically. But wait, I think I'm forgetting something here. Oh yeah, if this is your first time here, or in case you have a really short attention span and not seeing an upload in a week's made you forget, my name's Ash, this is C4E Tech, and these are my thoughts, my initial impressions coming out of the launch of the Mi Note and the Mi Note Pro. Let's get started. First off, let's start with the Mi Note. So here's the spec sheet. 5.7-inch Full HD negative LCD display, Snapdragon 801, that's the MSM 8974AC to be precise, meaning 4 Crate 400 cores clocked at 2.5 GHz each, coupled with an Adreno 330 GPU and 3 gigs of RAM. There's hi-fi audio on board, a 13 megapixel f/2.0 rear camera with optical image stabilization, a 4 megapixel front-facing camera featuring a large 2 micron pixel size that effectively makes it the equivalent of HTC's ultra pixel camera, by the way. Dual 4G standby, 1 micro and 1 nano SIM slot, all this backed by a 3000 mAh non-user replaceable battery. There's also support for Quick Charge 2.0, meaning this is gonna charge pretty quick. One of the things I really like about Xiaomi is that they're very clear and actually proud about who or where they source their parts from. Don't get me wrong here, I mean every company does that. Right from Apple to Samsung, everyone sources something or the other from another company. But Xiaomi is actually one of the very few that talk that up, at a launch event nonetheless. I feel that's a masterstroke, especially for a company from China, because that adds value, help break a lot of preconceptions about Chinese products. Anyway, let's take myself for example here. The fact that the Xiaomi power banks have LG batteries inside, that was the first reason I got interested in them. Anyway, in the same vein, they've made such announcements here as well. The displays for these devices are sourced from JDI and Sharp. The camera sensors, the IMX214, is sourced from Sony. It uses the ESS ES901 8K2M Hi-5 audio decoder. The 3000 mAh battery is also sourced from Sony and LG. Good stuff, adds a lot of credibility here. As far as the build goes, I for one am extremely happy that this time around Xiaomi has gone with something that one can call genuinely Xiaomi. I love my Mi 4, but even the staunchest Mi fan cannot disagree that the Mi 4 does feel inspired by a certain fruity company. Now, this Mi Note has 2.5D Gorilla Glass to the front and 3D Gorilla Glass to the back, meaning it curves ever so slightly to the front and quite a lot to the back. Well, Xiaomi was quick enough to point out to their testing that despite the use of glass, this phone would still remain durable, a steel ball test and a drop test to be precise. I'm going to be taking tests conducted in a controlled environment with a grain of salt. I mean, even for companies with a lot more expertise and experience than Xiaomi, all it took was one backwards hat wearing guy to blow all their testing. So that was a brilliant video, by the way. Anyway, moving on, durability is something we'd get a better idea of once these phones actually start being sold, people actually start buying them. Now, just because the Mi Note's design this time around wasn't inspired by Apple on the surface, it doesn't mean that Lei Jun wasn't thinking about Apple at all. This slide is from the launch event with Lei Jun talking about the camera bump on the back or the lack thereof. Quite funny. And then there's the 6.95mm thickness. 6.95. Take a breath. Think about it. To me, that seems like Xiaomi wanting to bring it under the 7.1mm iPhone 6 Plus mark. And I'd be okay with it as long as the battery delivers. But I'm not too optimistic here, let me be frank. Well, for starters, the Mi 4 has the same specs and does manage to deliver great battery life, but a 0.7-inch increase in display size with a marginally smaller battery. Anyway, here's to hoping that Xiaomi manages to surprise us all with killer battery life on this phone. Alright, enough for the Mi Note, let's now talk about the Mi Note Pro. So basically take everything that we've talked about so far, just change the display resolution to Quad HD, substitute the Snapdragon 801 with the upcoming 64-bit capable octa-core toting Snapdragon 810, add another gig of RAM, but this is the newer and faster LPDDR4 RAM, and we've got ourselves the Mi Note Pro. Well, I have no doubt that the combination of Snapdragon 810 and 4 gigs of DDR4 RAM should be able to handle the Quad HD display. Again, I'm not too optimistic about the battery life. It's still 3000 mAh. Yes, Snapdragon 810 uses the newer Cortex-A5753 combination built on the 20nm manufacturing process, so it should be more power efficient, and we do have a kind of precedence in the form of the Galaxy Note 4 Exynos variant, which uses a similar setup and an identical size display and manages to deliver great battery life. But that being said, this is one area where I can't help being a little wary. So once again, I hope Xiaomi proves my fears to be just that, fears of a paranoid pessimist, and actually delivers great battery life. Enough, let's get to the price. As it's been the trend with the Mi line of devices, the Mi Note and the Mi Note Pro do not come with microSD card slots, so there are 16 and 64GB variants available, and these are the prices. Now, the Mi Note is supposed to go on sale towards the end of January 2015 and the Mi Note Pro towards the end of March, early April. Now, given all the issues that we've been hearing about the Snapdragon 810 and its overheating, I wouldn't be surprised if the Mi Note Pro's sale dates get pushed a little bit. Keep in mind, these are the timelines for China. For other markets like India, they should launch a few months later, but as of now, I have no idea and no info on that. If and when I do get any information, I'll add it to the description down below. By the way, if you do live in a market where Xiaomi doesn't have a presence, or if you just can't wait to get your hands on these devices, you could import these phones once they go on sale in China via XiaomiWorld.com. Again, I'll leave a link and a discount code for XiaomiWorld.com in the description down below. With that, I guess we get to the end of this video. So if you have made it this far, do give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do. If you do have any feedback or any video requests for me, you can hit me up on Twitter at C4eTech. That's where I'm most active these days. So I guess that's it. I can't wait to get my hands on both the Mi Note and the Mi Note Pro. Xiaomi's really got me intrigued this time around. What about you? Are you intrigued? Do you think Xiaomi should have done something different? Do you love, what is the thing that you love or hate the most about these devices? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So once again, I guess that's pretty much it. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, this is Ash here from C4eTech signing off. You guys have a great day. Bye bye now.